Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back. I hope you're having a great day. So we're going to continue on with some fall candles. And up next we have HomeWorx Spice White Pumpkin. I'm really excited to share my thoughts on this one because it actually reminds me of a fragrance that I can no longer get from Colonial Candle called White Pumpkin and Clove. I still have one left, so I'm gonna pop that into frame here real quick. But if you loved, there we go. If you loved this from Colonial and you can't get it anymore because it's discontinued, I have a replacement for you, and it's from HomeWorx. It's Spice White Pumpkin. So this one is absolutely delicious, you guys. And if you're kind of afraid of picking this one up because you think it's gonna smell somewhat perfumey, I can assure you this is a white pumpkin that does not come across as perfumey. This comes across as a beautiful gourmand fragrance. And the maple that's in here is not that overly sweet, cloying maple. It's just like a kiss of maple, and I feel like that's all that you need. When it comes to maple in fragrances, like oftentimes I feel like people or companies just put too much of it. And I do understand that there's definitely a market for people who like those really heavy, sticky maple scents. I think just for me, it comes across as too much. It's overbearing and just not enjoyable. But little hint of it, especially in a fragrance like this, I think it's chef's kiss. So let's go ahead and we'll go through the fragrance notes. I'll tell you what, I smell compared to these notes. We'll talk about strength, throw, all of that kind of stuff as well. So your notes here are white pumpkin, cinnamon bark, white maple, and sugared vanilla. So I feel like the notes are pretty basic, and in some ways this is a somewhat basic fragrance, but it's a beautiful, like warm, cozy, inviting, like just very welcoming fall fragrance. It's so good, you guys. I think this might be one of my new holy grails for the fall. Like I'm tempted to put this up there with Harvest Leaves and my berry pumpkin waffles. It is that good. And I already ordered another one. This past weekend there was a special where the candles, I think, were 2 for $43. So I picked up the new Harvest Bake Shop to be able to review for you guys, as well as, what else did I get? The bourbon pecan pie. And I went ahead and tossed in another one of these spiced white pumpkins as well. I'm kind of wishing that I would have actually gotten maybe like 2 or 3 more because I just love this one. I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that it stays in stock on Homeworx.Shop because I believe right now that's the only place this one is available. I'm gonna hope that it continues to stay in stock there throughout the remainder of the fall season because I know I'm gonna want more of this. I shouldn't be buying backups of anything, but I feel like this one is really special, you guys. So in terms of what I get from this, the white pumpkin is, again, it doesn't come across as a perfumey white pumpkin. A lot of white pumpkins, including the white pumpkin from Bath & Body Works, definitely has a slightly more perfumey vibe to it. This does not. This is like fresh, like gourmand white pumpkin. It's not as intense as your typical like orange pumpkin scents, like pumpkin carving. I mean, pumpkin, that might be a bad comparison because that also has some pretty heavy spice notes to it. But there's just a difference from how like an orange pumpkin smells versus like a white pumpkin. The white pumpkin, I think, is not quite as intense. It's still very clearly a pumpkin, but it just doesn't have the intensity of the like orange pumpkin fragrance, at least to my nose. The cinnamon that's in here is perfect because it's not red hot cinnamon. It is more of a just gourmand cinnamon, like the cinnamon that you would have in your spice cabinet. Just soft, pretty, not spicy or oppressive in any kind of way. The white maple is really light. I don't I didn't know white maple was a thing. I thought maple was just maple, period. But this is nice. Like it's like just the slightest touch of maple syrup in here. It's not the first thing that I smell. Honestly, I get more of the pumpkin and the cinnamon than I do the maple. And that sugared vanilla is that perfect amount of sweetness to make this that like warm gourmand type fragrance without it again coming across as cloying or overly sweetened. Just super, super pleasant. And the vanilla also adds just a little bit of creaminess to it. This is delightful, you guys. And she's performing like a champ in terms of strength and throw. Now, is it back to like the early days of Homeworx? No, but I'm getting a solid like 7, I would say almost like 7.5 in terms of strength, and just about a 7 in terms of throw. It fills up a good chunk of the downstairs of the house, not quite the whole thing, but I certainly smell it in most of the rooms that I travel between. I obviously have it here in my entryway, and it fills up a lot more of the house when I place it here. It's just this is great, you guys. I think this would be one of those like staple type fragrances, or something that you could, I think a lot of people would adopt this as like a signature fragrance in their house for the fall, sort of like what Harvest Leaves has been to me in terms of like my fall signature scent for a number of years since Harry released it. I think this is probably one of my favorite new fall scents in quite some time, and it's one I would definitely encourage you to check out, especially if you typically like the same types of fragrances that I do, and if you are missing this in your life. Obviously this is, so I have not burned this one, but now I feel comfortable burning this, knowing that I at least have this as a backup. In terms of the similarities between these two, I think there's just a hint more spice in the white pumpkin and clove. There's definitely a little bit of clove in the Colonial version for sure. And there's also, I think, a touch of nutmeg in the Colonial version. But in terms of like the base of that white pumpkin and that creamy vanilla and just that perfect level of sweetness, that is spot on for the white pumpkin and clove. Ugh, they're absolutely both delicious scents. And if you can't find white pumpkin and clove anymore on eBay and you're looking for a replacement, check this one out. I think it's going to be a great option for you. I'm not sure what the sales are going to be on the Homeworx website coming up this weekend. Obviously, we have Labor Day, and there's going to be Labor Day sales, right? I don't have any information on what those are going to be quite yet, but as soon as I know, I'll certainly fill you guys in. If there is a really good sale, I shouldn't, but I'll probably end up picking up just a few more of these because I love it. And hopefully Harry doesn't discontinue it after this year. He's done a great job, I think, of bringing back some amazing scents over and over again. But this one here is like, I mean, I'm just in heaven with this one. So anyway, you guys, let me know if you have tried Spiced White Pumpkin from Homeworx and what your experience is with it. By the way, I'm not having any wick issues, but I think that has to do with the fact that I don't burn these candles for hours on end. Just for reference point, I burn all of my Homeworx candles anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours, no more than that. I find that when I go beyond that, I do start to have issues with wicks potentially wanting to topple over. The wax pool just gets too big sometimes, so you really need to make sure you don't burn these for an extended period of time. Anyway, I'm gonna get going. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. Let me know if you have any questions, and let us know what your experience is down below in the comments. Have a great rest of your day. Toodaloo.